Tell me what the hell are you scared of when in the end the only
Where's the love? Right here on this podcast. Welcome to Love Drops, where your hosts and One Love ambassadors, Charles and Diane, will share love, hope, and inspirational topics taken from their journey and world events. We will also include on-location recordings and special pop-up guests from cool places all around the world. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the show.
whether big or small, love never fails. Oh, love that conquers all, love never fails.
So, welcome to another edition of Love Drops Podcast. I am so excited to be here today with a dear friend and someone I met on LinkedIn, and we've had several conversations virtually, and the connection was just there, just right off, the connection was there. And man, I could just talk so much about this guest, but I'm going to turn the mic over to her. So without further ado, we have Anna Thellmann, and she's going to come to the mic and tell you all about her. So Anna, thank you for your yes, and the mic is yours.
Well, thank you very much. And it just reminded me of our first virtual chat that we had when you came on and you said, well, I'm so tired. I thought about canceling it, but something inside me said, no, 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 do this. And it's been growing from there.
Yes. Yes.
So thank you very much for having me here today. As you said, my name is Anna Thellmann. I live in China, in the north of China. And a couple of years ago, I created my business as an intimacy expert and relationship advisor. So what I do is I help individuals to have the relationship they want to have, because I believe that it starts with yourself. You don't need your partner to be there, because we humans, we mirror each other. So when you start, your partner will follow. You just need a bit of patience. So I teach my clients how to do that, how to be patient, and how to work on yourself, on your beliefs. As we said, this belief in your head, that's the main driver why your relationship is where it is. And I help my clients to see that you are the asset and you deserve the relationship and you can change it. And all you need to do is change those beliefs.
Wow, that is amazing. And you have your newsletter, which I love. I love your newsletter. It is so, man, just sit down with a cup of coffee and it goes so fast. So one of those newsletters, I'm like, that's it. It goes really, really fast. And in that letter, you interweave what you're saying. So just based on reading your letters, speaking with you, I can say that you're a person that live your message. You live what you speak, and it's very, very apparent by the frequency, right? Just by that frequency and that vibe that you exude without even trying. Without even trying. I think the last time we spoke, I was like, Anna, I just love speaking with you because you have such a joyful, fun, playful spirit. And it just really ignites me, right? I leave and I'm like, hubba, hubba. Hey, honey, right? So, with all that said, I would like to take advantage of having you on the program and just take advantage of this conversation. I've never had an intimacy expert advisor, with relationships before. And so I thought a fun topic for us to discuss would be just the intimate frequency of life, and let that take us where we want to go. So when I say that to you, where does that take you?
It takes me to myself because I'm the only person I am with for the rest of my life, 24/7. Yeah, it's
Mm-hmm.
me, it's you, it's no one else. And I see this very often that, of course, we care for our partner, our children, our family, and friends, but you are the most important one in your life. And we often forget that. So, looking at yourself, taking care of yourself, making sure that you, the asset, is at your best in the most possible way at the time. Put that in mind, at the time. It doesn't mean that there is no room for improvement. It doesn't mean that you can't have a bad day, because whatever it is right now is your best. And looking after yourself, that's what makes your life what it is. And being intimate with yourself, for me, what comes up is being there for myself, just listening to what do I need? What does my body need? What does my brain need? Because sometimes that's in overdrive. For me, for you probably as well, it's just like going crazy. Said, what do I need now? And
Mm-hmm.
sometimes it's hard to listen to what you need because your brain is interfering and it's telling you, but you don't have time, but you shouldn't do this. You have so many things to do. Because I think sometimes the blockage is there that we expect it needs to be something big,
Mm-hmm.
but it doesn't. It can just be you, like I do. I sit on the balcony, I just look out and stay there for a minute, for two, give
Mm-hmm.
my brain some space, get away from my desktop, get away from work, get away from my partner, from my dogs, from everything. It's just me by myself. Here I am, full stop. That's it.
I love that. I love that. And I want to circle back and just say the way that you said where you are now. So it doesn't
Mm.
mean that you won't have a bad day. I view that and I say I give myself grace. And in giving myself grace, I allow myself to feel what I feel. I allow
Mm.
myself to feel happy, to feel sad. I allow myself to just kind of sit in it, not get stuck in it, but sit in it and feel it because there's something that is trying to alert. It's like, what is it? What is it that this pain is telling me? Like, what is this aching telling me? What is this emotional, feeling? What is it trying to say? A lot of times for me, I'll go and get into a bubble bath. I love just sitting in a bubble bath. I'm a serious bubble bather. I have bath pillows. I'm talking candles, we're nice scents, and sometimes music. Sometimes I'll listen to a story. Sometimes I read, and sometimes it's just eye pillows on top, and I just sit still, just sit still with it. And like you said, it doesn't have to be a long time. Sometimes it's a 30-minute bath. Sometimes it's an hour and 30-minute bath. It just depends on, just what's going on at the time. But I love that, getting intimate with yourself. And I think for so long, we have given our feminine energy and power just to others, be it our spouse, be it our children, be it our friends, and we're just giving it away, and we're not taking it time to just give it to us. And we expect others, right, to give it to
Mm.
us. But like you said earlier, it's a mirror. So if you do that, then it will come back. It'll come. It will come, and you
Yeah.
have to be patient. You're right about that patience.
Yeah, it takes time. And I think what we also need to remember is we're giving it from a place of love and not desperation and not, I do this because I want you to do that as well for me. Because then it's not going to happen. And then you're disappointed because you put all these expectations on someone else's behavior.
Yeah, yeah,
And the only one you hurt is yourself and on purpose. So by
exactly.
letting go of that and just go again to yourself. What
Hmm.
do I need? No expectations. Everything is fine. now I can give without expectations.
Yes, yes. And I really going back again to that intimate frequency of life. You hit it right on the nail when you says, so I give to you, and then I expect that you'll give it back to me. So if I rub your feet, you'll rub my feet. But I rub your
Mm,
feet, and then you're like, okay, thank you, and you walk away. Now I'm angry, but
mm,
it's like it's what's your motivation? What's the premise behind the giving, what you're giving? And I've learned, Anna, to not expect even a thank you because people have the right not to. I'm not saying that it's right or wrong or that it even feels good. But when you do something, if they don't say thank you, it doesn't undo it. And then for you to get
mm,
frustrated about it, now you've kind of taken that energy, that frequency of love away from it, right? Because now
yeah.
you're replacing it with anger or, some type of feelings. So, yeah, you hit that on the head. You hit that right on the
Mm.
head. Hmm.
Yeah, yeah. And what comes up when you just said that is because when you deal with people, yeah, you're bound to get hurt because of your expectations. That's a normal thing. Because I hear
Hmm.
that sometimes from people in the relationship, I don't want to get hurt.
Yes.
But it's part because you have these expectations, because you interact with these people, you have your expectations, and then they will hurt you. But it's
Hmm.
not them who hurts you, it's you who hurts yourself because
Yes.
of these expectations that you carry with you. And I'm not saying that give love and stick with everyone around you, because, for example, I have my expectations in the sense of integrity, honesty,
Yes.
respect.
Hmm.
And if I try my best to give that to people that I'm interacting with, if I don't get that back, that's okay. But for me, I also draw the line and the boundary to say, then you're probably not part of my life anymore.
Yeah.
And that might also mean there are people I've known for years, but still, it's like my boundary, and that's what I give you. And the thing is, it's a tricky one because it's an expectation,
Yes.
if we call it an expectation. On the other hand, we could also say it's something that makes me feel that we're in alignment. When you
Yes.
respect me, I respect you. And it's not like you have to. You can disrespect me and call me names. Everything is fine. I let you do that. It just means that I remove myself from this situation, from this relationship.
Yes. Yes. That is so good because it the boundaries. That's
Mm,
what captured, that's what grasped me was the boundaries. And I've said this over and over again, and that is when we set boundaries, those boundaries are for us. Those
yeah.
boundaries are for us to adhere. Those boundaries are for us to respect. And if you have someone that does not respect your boundaries, you cannot force your boundaries on others. But what you can do is protect your boundaries. So if they continue to cross those boundaries, if they continue to just ignore them, then that's when you have to step in and say, you know what, I'm going to just remove access to me from you because you don't know how to respect my boundaries. And sometimes they will jilt into place, and they'll see it, right? And then they will take it serious, and other times they won't. But either way, that's not your issue. That's not your puzzle. Your puzzle is just to keep your boundaries intact. And I have found that that has been my greatest self-care mechanism, is just to have those boundaries, and not rigid boundaries. I mean, you have to be flexible, and you learn, and you kind of give and take, and you adjust as needed. But then it all come back to that integrity, that honesty, and that love. Those are the foundations, right? Those are, with those taken away, then it's pretty much a deal breaker. It's like, I'm not I'm not too flexible on that. I'm pretty rigid with that. Those are core foundational things, with those boundaries.
Yeah, yeah, you're right. And so you asked me before, who am I? Who is Anna? And so just when you talked about all of this, it's what came back to me is like I've been a person since I can remember who removed myself from people, from situations when I felt like, no, this is not my boundary isn't respected here.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember that people have told me that I'm crazy, that I should get over myself, that what's wrong with you? And why are you this way? Why can't you just be normal? So there was a lot of, yeah, yeah, why can't you be normal in the sense of just deal with it? It's okay. This is just that person. And I think for me, what I always had in my head is that's okay for me to that person to be who they are. But it doesn't mean that I need to be with them or in their space.
Yes.
So I let you be whoever you want to be. That's fine by me. But it's my decision where I am.
Yes.
And I think that's a big thing that we have the choice in whatever we do, whoever we are with. It's a choice. If you're
Yes.
in a relationship that's not working, where you're unhappy, where you cry and doubt yourself all the time, it's your choice.
Yes.
And that choice might be driven by fear. Most often it is, but it's your choice. And I think therein lies a lot of power to know, to realize it's my choice. Even though I've chosen this now for me, I could also change my choice
Mm-hmm.
and go somewhere else, do something different, find a different option, whatever it is.
Yes.
It's your choice.
Wow, I love that. I love that. And when you were saying that, it reminded me of something that my mom has always said to my sisters and I. She says, people don't use you without your permission. So she says,
Yeah.
if you feel someone is using you, if you feel someone's taking advantage of you, it is with permission, because every time you let them do those things, you're giving them permission, you're giving them allowance and saying, it's okay. It's okay for you to
Mm.
do that. But yeah, you can't do it without permission. You can't, do things. And sometimes, you know what? I will even say to someone, you know what? I know that you think you're getting over on me, but you're not. I says, I'm allowing this. I'm giving you grace,
Mm.
in this. I said, but the grace is not endless. So trust me, if you continue this way, I won't be there. But I just want you to know that you're not using me. I'm extending grace. Just so they know, just call it out. When people say, "Oh, that's just how so and so is," and maybe they're not a kind person, or maybe they're not a nice person, and so you go, "Yeah, I think I'm gonna just kind of pull away." Well, why are you doing that? That's just how they are. That's just their way. In other words, kind of like get over it. And guess what? I'm not gonna get over it because I don't like that. It doesn't fill my bucket. I don't like being around that person. And if they can't change, elevate, evolve, grow, then that's their choice. But it's my choice
Mm.
to put myself around people that's going to fill my bucket, that I get energized from. So that
Yeah.
was what I was thinking. Yeah, yeah. Right. I know.
We're both no.
I know, I
Yeah.
know. I'm gonna,
No.
what were you gonna say? Because I'm gonna go to your three words. I've kind of found a way to weave those in, but what were you gonna say?
No, what it reminded me of a situation where you talked about uh, boundaries and decisions and everything. What just a memory came back that I had a boyfriend many, many years ago, and he was physically abusing me and emotionally. So I was in hospital a couple of times due to that. And I gave him permission.
Mhm.
And my permission was given due to fear that he would literally kill me. I was afraid that if I step up, if I do something about it, he will kill me. And eventually, when I did step up, police got him. And when they released him, he came back, he hit me again, he tried to rape me, etc., etc. So my fear was in that sense right, that he would do something more to me. But nevertheless, what I learned is the next guy who came, and he just did this with a hanger in his hands. He tried to hit me. He didn't even hit me. He just tried. And I was like, stop. This is my time to go. Full stop. No matter what his excuse, his explanation.
Right.
My choice is not to get into this cycle again.
Right.
So I removed myself. I just left there, and then that was the last time that this guy and I spent time together. It was like, I'm done.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
The thing is, it's a different topic, but I think it's important to talk about, because I know so many people are in a domestic violent relationships.
Yes.
And I remember when I was in it,
mm-hmm.
I didn't want to talk to anyone because I felt ashamed.
Mm-hmm.
And I was also afraid of losing him. Yeah, it
mm-hmm.
makes no logical sense, but I was afraid of losing him.
Yes.
And when everything came out, I remember my brother met him randomly somewhere. And he came to me and said, oh, I met your ex. And I said, you talked to him?
Mm-hmm.
Hey. So why shouldn't I? I said, because he did this to me. And I didn't understand why he would talk to him. And my brother explained to me, because my mom always told us this. A hello is a greeting from God, and there's love in it. And it took me years to understand this. But what my brother did is said, hello, I greet you with love and with grace, as you say. But it doesn't mean I stay with you. It's my decision that you did this to my sister. I show you forgiveness, but I choose not to talk to you.
Yes. Yes.
And so my point is that we expect other people to fight our fight. And I expected my brother to fight my fight.
That's good.
It's not their fight to have.
Yes.
And I know there are different opinions about this, and everyone has their own, but I believe it's my fight. And as long as my brother is true to me, telling me this, so I don't find out and he's going for a beer with him and whatever.
Right.
It takes time for me to understand, but it's okay for him to do that.
To just say hello, not go out for beer.
Yeah, to just say hello, to show him that love. It's like, you're a human being, you make mistakes. Mm-hmm. And you made some bad stuff here.
Yes.
But the respect for you as a human is there. And I don't discard you or say, oh, you're rubbish and go away, or I hate you. Because it's not his fight to have.
And that's a good point, because think about it. If your brother would have socked him, just socked him out, gave him a black eye or broke his nose or whatever, right? You wouldn't feel good about that. That's like no vindication, because now what he has done is he has lowered his frequency, right? To meet his frequency, or maybe even lower. Whereas what he did was at a very high frequency. So who knows, maybe it'll bring him up, maybe not, but he will see what a real man, how a real man responds, right? Because he knows what he did. So for him to take that, sometimes it's a harder pill to swallow, the forgiveness, the grace, the love. And like you said, with all of those things, that doesn't mean I have to have a relationship with you ever. It just means that I bid you well, I bid you grace, I bid you love, and hopefully I bid you do better moving forward. I
Yeah,
won't know because we're not going to be friends, you know?
exactly. Yeah. And we often know that revenge, we think about revenge like, oh my God, if this happened to that person, then I feel so much better. But it doesn't.
It doesn't. It
It,
doesn't. It doesn't because it's just that over the course of my life, I've been in a relationship, and you have a relationship, and maybe it's verbal, and you're going back and forth verbal, and so someone says something really cruel to you, and then you say something really mean or cruel. I never feel good about it, even if I do a gut punch, and it's like I hit them with words that I know, bam, just knock them out, but I don't walk away feeling vindicated or even good about that. I feel better to either say nothing or just say, bless you, or whatever, but not to do those words, because now I feel bad. I'm like, oh my God, because I lowered my frequency, right? I lowered my frequency. And so we're talking about that intimate frequency of life, and that is like intertwined with so much. And so our pre-conversation, we're talking about it in life from a feminine perspective of how we bring forth things, how we birth things, how there's pregnancy, right? How we're pregnant with things, how we miscarry, and then miscarriage can be not just only on that physical level, but like on a deep, intimate level. Whereas you have a dream, or you have a desire, or you have just something, and you miscarry it, right? You lose it. You lose it. And another thing we intertwined in there was just like motherhood. And so the first part of that is just that pregnancy, right? So I look now, I have two adult children, no more children here, not at least that away, right? Not where I'm carrying them, I'm pregnant, I carry them, but I have been pregnant with many purposes. I've been pregnant with books, right? Where you just like you're carrying it, and it's like you have to deliver it. And you're writing it out, and then it goes from manuscript, and then it's just like ta-da, I wrote a book, right? I wrote another book, right? So it's just like that, you deliver it. I use that metaphor a lot. I'm saying just carrying it. It's just like, oh my God, I just feel like I'm getting ready to deliver something. I feel it a lot where I get these revelations, the fruit of my loins, right? And so I think that especially we as women, we bring forth life. We have life, and even the flow of life when you're in that particular age, and you have your monthly menstrual. And I know like that's kind of like whoa, but it's the flow of life. It's life. It's life flow. It's just like that blood is the flow of life. It brings life. It takes life.
Okay. So what came to mind to me is, on the one hand, professionally, or when you say you birthing, or you're pregnant with an idea. I've never thought about it as birthing, but I like the metaphor about, yeah, I'm pregnant now and it takes time to develop, and then I birth it, and then it's out in the world, and then it's for me to nurture it and grow it and help it evolve. And as I said before, one of my things right now is I'm pregnant with this idea of creating an audio summit about reconnecting with your partner. So that is one of my ideas, like I said, with the book. And the other part is the motherhood. And for me, it was having had 5 miscarriages. It became clear to me that I didn't want to go through a 6th one. sixth one. So for me, after five, because after the fifth, and it happened here in China just when we arrived, it was a traumatic experience due to the hospital we were at and me being alone here, and no one didn't know anyone, and it was just me and my partner, and I fell into this hole. And for me, it was clear, like, this is not what I want to do again. And then what happened, it took me months to get out of it. And it only happened to overcome that darkness by allowing to be in the darkness, to say it will hurt for the rest of my life. And that is okay. It doesn't have to go away. It's okay if you remember your 5 children wherever they are. On the other hand, it was always tricky for me, because my mind went into overdrive. Like, what do I say when people ask me, do you have children? Because I do have children. They're just not here in our reality.
Mm-hmm.
So what do you say? So it took me a long, long time, and I still sometimes struggle with it, to not to like hit people on the heads, like, I have children, but they are all dead. Like, yeah, you
Right.
don't want to provoke other people, particularly you don't want to trigger them. So it's still, for me, finding, depending on the person who asks me if I have children or not, what I say.
Mm-hmm.
But with that came the idea of, what does motherhood mean to me? And I sat down and I thought about all these ideas I had when I'm a mother. And it became clear that for me, it meant that I teach, I help them grow, I help them love themselves, I help them go their own way, find their own way, and be brave enough to pursue it and fall down, get up again. And I thought, how can I use this idea of motherhood in my life now? And then it was just like a hit in the face, like, Anna, you're a coach, you do this coaching and NLP stuff. That's where it is. I was like, oh my God, yes, yes, yes. This is where I can be the mother to my clients, to everyone in the world, to help them grow, help them love themselves, help them have the relationship they deserve and want, to be that mother who guides them, to help them get up again, and make sure that they know it's okay if you fall down.
Mm-hmm.
We just put a little plaster, give a kiss, and let's go, get up and walk.
Wow, Anna, that was powerful. And the word that came to me as you were speaking was nurturer. Because when you think of a mother, what does a mother do? She nurtures. She nurtures her children, right? And so
Yeah.
in this frequency of intimacy in life, you're nurturing the intimacy in those that are disconnected, maybe some broken things, maybe not in touch. So you're nurturing and helping them to find their way and to get back to it, not to discount at all, no disrespect about your 5 babies, about your 5 children. No, 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 no. I mean, honestly, sometimes, you have someone and you talk about, well, I lost my child, and that is so dear and it's near. It's something that you carry, something you had inside your body, right? And you'll get someone to say, well, yeah, I know how you feel because I lost my dog. And so it's like, whoa, 2 different griefs and 2 different, 2 griefs, but it totally different, totally different things. So what my frequency adjustment has been is this: when someone says loss, you're empathetic, but I don't know how you feel. I don't know how that affected your frequency. I know how I felt when I lost babies. I've lost children. I have children here, but I've lost children. So I know how I felt, and I know my spirals, and I know my dark corners, and I know, just the things, the hurdles and things that I had to work through. But again, what you said about just being in that dark space, I think so many times people want to just bounce out of it. And that I think deeply affects our frequency for intimacy in this life and just other things when you don't want to feel the pain. So many people are just trying to numb the pain. So many people are just trying to find distractions from the pain. So they'll work harder, or they'll just whatever, they'll shop, they'll eat, they'll whatever, they want to take something and just kind of just soothe it over. But the thing of it is eventually you're gonna have to come to terms with that pain. And it's better to not necessarily be in control of the narrative, but to just allow it to happen where you're like, okay, come on, let's do this, instead of where maybe you're out there doing life and it just hits you upside your head, something triggers it, and you just fall apart. And now you got to, put the pieces back together. Now I kind of wanted to give you a space to speak. Did you want to speak to what I just spoke about? Was there anything that resonated with you with that?
Um, yeah, yeah. So what came up when you talked about grief is, and particularly when you got this comparison with the dogs, and I have two dogs, and I am fully aware that they will die probably before I do, and that I'm going to be there when they die. And I think grief is a very, very personal experience, and everyone grieves differently. For example, I have a friend and she had a miscarriage, and for her it was like, this is what's happening, nature is like this, sometimes this happens, it's okay, try again, full stop. That was her grief around having the miscarriage, losing that child.
Mm-hmm.
And then I know other people who had a dog, a cat, whatever it was, and they fall into depression because they just lost that one not person, I want to say person, but it's not a person. So that one part of their lives that gave them love unconditionally.
Yes. Yes.
They never had it before, probably. They never experienced it. They're not giving it to themselves. So it's something so, so special. And then this is gone and nowhere to be found again. And that can have such a tremendous impact in your life and your mental health, your body, because it's all working together. So grief is an individual thing and everyone is grieving differently.
Yes.
And I think that's an important message, not to compare, because I also know people who lost their child while it was older. And then there come other people and say, but it's been 3 years, you should be over it. Like,
yes.
Should I?
Right.
Yeah, it's everyone is their own person and everyone decides, where do I stay? And for that woman, she decides every day to stay in her grief.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yes,
So let her.
Yeah, so let her. That's right.
Let her. Because there's no way you can't reason with your logic to someone else saying, no, I think you should do this. Even if you've gone through a similar experience, it's never the same. I always, when I hear people say, oh, I know how you feel, it's like, no, you have an idea of how I might feel because
Right.
you've been something similar. You went through the motions, but it was your emotion with all the experience you had in your life, etc.
Mm-hmm.
It's always an idea of how you feel.
Yes.
Yeah.
That, you know what, that is so good. And I am guilty of that, as far as like, oh, I know how you feel because I da 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 da, fill in the blank. And what it took for me was me being in a traumatic situation right? And having someone come and say, I know how you feel, and then proceed to tell me how I feel because they know how I feel. And you're 100% incorrect because that's not how I feel right now. How I am feeling something that doesn't describe it. And so instead of, really getting angry about it, it just gave me an aha. And I say, wow, that's how people feel when I say, I know how you feel. So I really, really, really make a very intentional effort to not say that because I don't know how you feel. Like you said, I have an idea, but no, I
Yeah.
don't know. I really don't know how you feel.
Mm.
We've talked about so much here. We're definitely going to have you back on the show. I kind of want to wind it down a little bit and just get to our closing. So I guess one of my questions for you right now would be your intimate frequency indicator, if that's such a thing, right? So how how do you gauge it, and what would you say is a generalized good space to be if we did like the red, the yellow, and the green is where we want to be?
Well, it's again, we come to judgment because green, yellow, and red for everyone is different. It's
That
an
is true.
individual. So
Yeah.
for me, it's this, for you, it's something different. And but I would say as a guide,
Yes.
what's important to me, how I see it, is accepting myself. So that means if I have this day where my brain is just empty and I can't be asked to do any work, it's like, yeah, this is the day where my brain is empty, where I can't be asked to do anything. It's okay. The world won't destroy itself if I don't do X, Y, Z. Of course, there are responsibilities like walking the dogs, yeah, stuff that you do to survive. You eat something, you might have a shower or not, but it's for me accepting myself. And when I do that with everything, with the mood that I'm in, with the body that I'm in, so if I put on weight, it's like, yeah, everything is a bit tight now, and that's okay. It's okay. It doesn't mean that I can't do anything about it, but accepting. And I always like this difference between self-love and self-acceptance, because self-love to me is a couple of steps further, and it takes time and patience, etc., etc. So start with self-acceptance. The good, the bad, and the ugly, that's all makes out who you are, because we can't have the light without the dark, if you want to put it that way. You have to have the ugly in order to have the good.
Yes.
There is no one without the other. It's all part of who you are. Because one person said to me, oh, I love my husband's passion, but I don't like it when he shouts. It's like, but shouting is passion. Yeah.
Exactly.
So if you don't want the shouting, don't want the passion, then you don't have the passion when he grabs you, like, oh, come here. Be careful what you wish for.
True. Yeah.
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 So
Wow.
accept, start small, accept that there is good, bad, and ugly in you, and that it's okay. That doesn't mean it has to come out. It doesn't have mean that you are that person. It just means these are parts of who you are. And
That
you
is
choose which part you bring to the world, which part you bring to your relationship.
oh, that is so good. That is so good. I mean, wow. That was a $5,000 session right there. So, ladies and gentlemen,
Send
right?
me the check.
Send you the check. I swear. You know, I think if many of us would just accept our whole package, right? Just accept our whole package, then I believe that we could elevate those frequencies so high. Because if I accept, hey, I got a little cellulite on this thigh here, and yeah, I got a little pouch here, and you know what? I got slight wings on the arms or whatever. If I can accept that and still love me and say, you go, girl, you're beautiful. I love you. Um, let's go. If I want to exercise and, tone it up and, change my diet drastically or whatever, then that's what I'll do. But I'll do it because I want to do it, because that's what I want to do. If I'm like, I'll get there, hey, that's okay too, because that's my choice that I decided to make. And so as you were talking, it just took me to issue 6 of the Unapologetic Woman's Magazine, right? Re-empowerment, with our dear friend El Naj. And we both did articles in there, and that was a part of it. I think our theme for issue 6 was naked. And we just all reflected and just gave our perspective on what that was to us. I think we had a center foundation of women that had breast cancer, right? And just body image. And I think what I want to just plug in here is when you truly, unconditionally, unapologetically love yourself, then there's nothing that anyone outside of yourself can do to tear you down, because it's just going to bounce off of you. And you're going to be, hey, that's your truth. And that's how you feel. And it's okay. But I am the bomb.com and I love me. So that's okay too. You know?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I think it's live and let live, or live and let be. What's that?
I think it could go either way. I think I've heard it both ways. So yeah, depending
Yeah,
on who's saying
yeah,
it. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. And yeah, with the issue 6, yeah, I remember that article when I wrote it. I put together all these clients, friends, myself, all these women into this article, talking about the mind drama that goes through when you, for the first time, have sex with your new partner, and all the inner critic, however you want to call that voice in your head, when you look in the mirror, what you see, and then what the other person sees. And it's 2 different perspectives.
Yes.
And that's so, I think, mind-blowing on the one hand, because for me, sometimes I think, oh, Anna, you're so amazing. How can't he see that? How can they see it? But it's okay. Yeah? And on the other hand, the other way around, when I think, oh my God, this is horrible. And about that article, I got so much blame and shame from people I showed it before. They said, come on, this is just self-torture. This is just like boring. Blah, blah, blah. Why do you do this?
Right.
I was like, no, I think I want to share this message. I think it's important for someone out there to know that they are not alone, that it happens to the best of us in some way or another, not in the way maybe that I described it in the article, but maybe parts of it.
Absolutely.
And that's what brings me back to self-acceptance. I accept myself. I love myself. And that's why I, even getting all of that negative response, I thought, no, I just do it. And if Elle doesn't like it, well, she will take it off, then she won't publish it. Fine by me.
We know Elle. And so even it doesn't, we know Elle. And it's going to fly, because I know I've spoken to her. I'm like, well, what are you asking? What is, whatever. She said, go with it. This is the topic. Go with it. And when you're going with it, then it doesn't really matter. If that's my truth, that's my truth. If that's my message to the world, that's my message to the world. And being the amazing creatives that you and I are, we have our own platform as well. So we have a microphone, mic check 1 2, that we can put it out there in the newsletter, on the podcast, just so we get to put our message out there, and it's our message, our truth. right? And that's the thing that I really love about the magazine, because you just see so many different perspectives, and Elle did a great job just intertwining them. So talk about intimate frequency in life. She was just masterful with
Mm.
how she put that together. You know, even the pictures. And when I say she put it together, she would even say, well, it was a collective. And yes, it was a collective, but you held the editor pen and you put those pieces together in such a way that it came out mind blowing. I have a
She
shirt.
birthed it.
She birthed it. She sure did. I have a shirt that says I'm not for everyone. And that has just, that message has just brought up so many looks and comments from people, because I love that shirt and people are just like looking. But even when I wear it, it just reminds me that no matter what I do, it can be at my highest frequency plus 10, it's still not going to be enough for someone. It's still going to be too much for somebody else. It's going to be just right for someone else and just perfect. And guess what? It's okay. It's my frequency, and I'm going to put it up as high as I can to make that intimate human connection like what we have. Truly, you're near and dear to my heart, and we've just been together for such a short time. I'm really excited for all the things ahead for both of us. And with that said, what is it that you have coming up? How can our listeners get in contact with you? And one last thing, even before that, how did you end up in China?
Well, I came for love. That's the short answer. We lived in England before, my partner and I, and he got the job offer here in China. He asked me if I want to come, and I made the decision to leave everything behind because I knew that I don't want to go for him to China. I want to go with him in the sense of being aware that I do this for myself, knowing I leave everything behind, I start from scratch. And it's not his fault if I fail along the way. That was important to me. I wanted to avoid that mind trauma, knowing that I probably fall into it if I say, oh, I did this for you. But no, 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 no. I don't want to go there. My decision, my path, this is what I want to do. So here we are 5 years later.
I love that. I love that. Wow. How can people get in touch with you, to connect with you, continue the conversation, or even potentially become a client? Because you take clients all over the world, correct?
Yes, yes, I do. Yeah, of course. So the best way to get in touch where everything is in one place is, of course, my website, annathellmann.com. And I just started a YouTube channel where I put all my live classes that I do on Insight Timer, so you can re-watch them. That YouTube channel is called Relationship Habits, and I think you find it under that. I'm not sure, but yeah, just started it. It's amazing. I love it because it. I love sharing, sharing my knowledge. As I said, this is the motherhood part that I want to share with the world, with the people who want to hear it. Not everyone does, and that's okay.
Yes. So
Yeah.
I will put those links in the narrative. Quick question. So is your YouTube channel also connected to your website?
Yes,
Can
everything is
Okay,
connected.
so
You find
yes, so we'll
YouTube, LinkedIn, everything is on the website.
Okay, awesome. So that's what we'll do. We'll put that website on, which I love doing that anyways. And then the other thing is pre-recording. You talked about reconnect with your partner. So that's something you got coming up. So will that be attached to your website, or is that only on LinkedIn? Tell us about that a little bit.
Okay, so the idea is that I love to work with other experts in their field. And so I asked these 5 ladies who are also experts in intimacy, relationship, and sexual intimacy. And I thought this is amazing, knowing these women and putting together an audio summit for people just to listen wherever they are. You tune in, you listen to what we talk about. And the topic is reconnect with your partner. And I asked these ladies to find their number one topic that they discussed with their clients. But why is there a disconnect in the relationship? Mm-hmm. And how does it look like in daily life? Because I don't want any generics like you don't talk, but what does that mean? Right. It means different things to different people. Right. So I want to go into details. How did it look for your clients? And what can you do to reconnect? And it will be, when do we launch it? On the 11th of September.
Yes.
It's on demand for 1 month. It's for free. So everyone can just tune in. It will be on the website. It will be on LinkedIn. It also, probably I do a video for YouTube so that everyone gets the chance to just sign up and listen.
Awesome. Amazing. So Anna, again, thank you so much for your yes. Thank you for your time. It is non-refundable. So I appreciate this time that you've given me today. And any closing remarks before we sign off?
Yeah, I would like to invite everyone, because what I offer is a free 360-degree relationship assessment. And what that means is we just have a look at your relationship, deep, honest look where you are now, and what is the relationship you would like to have. What can you imagine right now that you would like to have? And then I will give you tools, easy steps to go from where you are to where you want to be. So I want to offer that to your listeners. If they want to follow up on that, please do so.
Awesome. Is there a link or is that on your website?
It's on my website as well, but I can also send you the link so they can go straight to book in.
Yes. Yeah. That would be awesome. So we'll do the website. We'll put that link on there, and then we'll put in bold or big letters, reconnect with your partner, happening on 9/11. And even though your YouTube is on your website, if you send me that link too, and I'll drop that in the narrative as well. I want to thank you, Anna, for just the intimate human connection that we share. It means so much to me. Truly, I am just really excited to grow with you, to one day meet you. I don't know if it'll be in China and Germany and the US, but somewhere, just where we meet, and you're somebody I'd hug. My mom says, don't hug everybody, because the frequency, the energy, whatever. But you're somebody I give a big old hug to. So I just really, I look forward to that. And as we close, I just want to thank the listeners for hanging in there with us. Remember to share Love Drop with all your friends. Share this episode. Connect with Anna. Tune in next time. And until later, we say one love.
Never a second will I waste, never an opportunity to taste the sweetness of this life.
Thank you for tuning in to the Love Drops podcast. Be sure to follow this podcast and share the love with everyone you know. Until next time, this is Charles and Diane signing off. One love. One love.
Love it conquers all. Love never